Ladies and gentlemen, how can it be that people around me, circumstances around me that I literally have really no influence on, how can it be that all of this is influencing my life to such an extent that it makes me suffer? That it is frustrating me, that I feel depressed about it, that I feel angry about it, that I feel sad about it. At some point, I just felt like it's very unstable. And so I started to ask myself, how come that I cannot manage myself in a better way? And this is where now all this so-called inner work starts to take place, where the self-mastery takes place. You are not trying to solve the issues of your government. You are not trying to solve the problems of your neighbor. The first thing you try to solve is everything that is able to trigger you to not be at ease with how this life is. What is the ultimate outcome of starting to invest some time in yourself? I would say you are getting more at ease regardless of what is happening on the outside. It doesn't mean you are becoming more ignorant to it. That is also a misconception. It is just a fact that the world around you, everything is like still in turmoil and everything is still burning. But because you are at ease, because you have become more stable, at least in this burning surrounding, you can now still be the guide to help the people out of the house. Because if you lose your temper and if you are getting stressed when the house is burning, who's going to guide the way? And this is how I felt. My life was also slowly developing, in the sense that if I really feel like I would like to contribute something to this world, can only be done if I'm already at ease and with peace inside of myself, that then I can carry out in the world. Mostly, I just try to encourage people, do something with your body. Just do something with your body. Whether it's sing, whether it's some stretching exercises, whether it's Kung Fu, whether it's Tai Chi. So it was something physical in the first place. But the whole idea was not only to make the people move. This was just like the beginning, but what we need is awareness. What we need is awareness. If you're already not aware of this body, it becomes even more difficult to be aware of what goes on in your mind. What type of traumas do you carry inside of you? If you're not even aware of your own body, something physical, something that you have every day in front of the mirror, how can you become aware of something that is so deeply rooted inside of you that you just can't even see it so easily? So the whole idea of emphasizing physicality, I would say, is the first step to begin the path of becoming aware. With this awareness, now the journey hasn't ended. The journey has just begun, because it's this awareness now that we need to use and actually start now looking inside ourselves. But exactly in the areas that for many years maybe were hidden there, consciously hidden, or sometimes unconsciously hidden areas that we ran away from, that we hide it, that we write it, that we somehow started to cover up because in the past they caused us too much pain, too much irritation. But I do think that at the same time that there is no other way to really clean yourself up than really looking at all the stuff that's hidden inside of you. I didn't want to say, but sometimes there's a lot of it. So it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to at some point start to realize what type of stuff, dark stuff, negative stuff have you yourself, me, myself done in this lifetime. But only after you really see it and you recognize that it was wrong. After you repent, then comes the freedom. I think that there are many ways how you can, let's say, motivate yourself to walk this path. So why would I face the dark side of myself knowing already that it's going to be painful? Why would I do that? So there are many ways. Me, from the area of the martial arts, I just know every time I suffered in the training afterwards, something really good came out of it. Same as like every time you face a challenge that was really difficult for you, but you still pushed it through somehow. You still were patient and persevered and were consistent and still tried. And this type of challenge for me was a way bigger victory than anything that was easily attained. So literally saying nothing sustainable and worse while in this lifetime comes from something that's easily attained. Music, if you're not aware of your own inner layer and somebody insults you, it can happen that like somebody insulted me and then I just started exploding. Yeah, but the fact is, before something explodes, before I explode, first of all, something must be lit. The small little flame already must have been lit. You can feel when something has been injected into you, when something starts to arise. Because when the fire is already too big, when the whole house is burning, you're not going to put down that fire in any way. You can only put down all of these fires before things come too big. Meaning, we must find a way to be directly grabbing the root, grabbing the core, or grabbing the source of the explosion. And the only way that I know is you need to become more sensitive for everything that goes on in your body, in your surrounding, in everything. This is where for me awareness does play a role. First, it's important to bring the light out of yourself. Only then you can be the guide and the light for others. If you are not shining well, then we all go into darkness together. So therefore, it's important that compassion is absolutely a quality which would help big time. But only if you for yourself have first of all understood that it still starts with the love, appreciation, respect and being careful about your own life in the first place. You must feel well, your body must be well, then it's able that life can flourish through you. Then it is possible to discover how great actually this possibility is that you have. And then because you fall in love with life, that's why you wish that everybody more and more also starts to see the greatness of what we actually have. And this is for me the source of compassion. Now we don't know what the future is going to bring. I don't know what this year and how this year is going to evolve, in which countries and regions in this world the next war is going to break out. So of course in a way I could be worried already about, what's going to happen next week and what will I do when they come into my country? So at the same time, you can recall the sufferings also by spending too much time dwelling or jumping into the future. So being in the past, being in the future, both of them are already sources where you're going to find suffering. As long as there is separation existing, separation from the present to the past, from the present to the future, from you to your surroundings, from good and bad, from having losing, from living and dying. So the more your mind is based on either this or that. So the more you see this separation, the higher the chances are. If you cannot find a way how to unite them, then it is automatically related to suffering. Music, the quickest way to not waste lifetime is when you really set up a schedule and just do the work, free from how you feel. How you feel. Because also feeling, sometimes you wake up one day, you feel this way, you wake up the next day, you feel another way. And it's just not helpful to base your structure or your goal on how you feel. Discipline meaning you stick to what you put there on paper. You take your time. You make the plan, and unless you really are sick or have some type of higher excuse, you just do what you have committed to. And this struggling of there are still so many distractions every day coming up. No, but you stick to the plan. You stick to your plan. This is what I feel like is a part of discipline, to do what you have committed yourself to. It's the one area. And at the same time, discipline also meaning you don't do the things you already know are not good for you. Discipline is not just about the active part of doing something. It also relates to the passive part of leaving the things out of your life where you already know is not going to help you. Both of these areas is, let's say, discipline. Focus for me is the ability to mobilize your energy. Energy maybe doesn't tell anything to the people. Your intention, your mind, your awareness. Let's say I need to do some type of work. I need to write the email. Simple. The quickest way, most accurate way to write this email is if you are completely with your awareness, you are focused in writing this email. Right now, you don't look at the mobile phone at the same time. You don't listen to music. You don't watch another television show on the screen. You don't eat something at the same time. Your focus is on that one task because your focus is on that one task. This is why everything that you are made out of can flow into whatever you are creating there. You don't do like the bench press and do something for the legs at the same time. It doesn't make sense. To mobilize energy means to know exactly where am I focusing my attention, and therefore where attention goes there, the energy flows. This is what focus means for me. If you want to create something, it's better to know where does your attention. It's not that you are like walking this path and then you are like becoming superhuman or anything like this. It is very, very simple. You just become less compulsive and less reactive to whatever is going on in this world. Because this is where I felt like at some point I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be driven by what is going on out there in the world. I don't want to be driven by what is happening out there where I feel like I have no influence on. It can be the decision of the governments. It can be the decision of whatever is being propagated in this world, which is ultimately affecting me. And I just didn't feel like I want to be dependent on external circumstances, because this just doesn't feel like my life is in my hands. This world that we are living in, there's always an exchange between the left side and the right side, the bad side and the good side, the negative and the positive, the pessimistic and the optimistic. That's why for me those two, they always belong together, and it is normal for me that sometimes circumstances are bad, but I also know, yeah, at the moment, but it's an exchange. Sooner or later it will be also becoming good again. Now I'm a little bit depressive, but it's going to change same way. Now everything is positive. Yeah, but I know, yeah, it's going to change. Things are changing. Nothing ultimately stays as it is. That's why I'm not sure if it is a positive mindset that I would propagate. My mindset would be that you are neither stuck in a negative one, but you're also not stuck in a positive one. So your perspective, your mindset would be one that at all times always sees actually the exchange of this one and this. And sometimes out of circumstances, out of whatever reasons, sometimes it's more based upon here. But then you also know just a question of time I move here. So to understand the interplay of these two and accept it actually that also the negative part is part of my life. As long as I also take care that it doesn't stay for a too long time in my life, I can have my bad days. Because to push yourself in having positive thoughts, be optimistic, I don't know, can also sometimes be like you see people do it, but you can feel they're not. They behave like everything would be great life. Yeah, but I can see inside it's not. You have to be as you are based with all two forces. It's just that stay calm. Nothing stays as it is. See the interplay always of both forces. And then get calm about it and regulate it. And then somewhere along the line, maybe it becomes balanced, then music, let go of yourself, and then you can see yourself without judgment. Just see yourself, look yourself in the mirror. This is a nice practice. Yeah, next time you're drunk or anything like this, stand in front of the mirror, look at you for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You can also do it without alcohol, and then look deep inside. Not only inside, also look at your skin. Look at the scars in the face. Look at the scars on the body. There is something about the expression, everything about you. There's a story behind it. Nothing on your body is there by coincidence. Looking at yourself and reading the history about yourself is something many people cannot do. And in Buddhist teaching, there's a nice saying. There are 3 things that can never be hidden. The sun, the moon, the truth. Whatever you have done in this lifetime, consciously or unconsciously, it's better to know of what has been done. Then you know who you are and you know what to adjust in order for you to move on into the future. If there are still too many things of the past inside of you that you don't even know about, what have you done? Things that are unresolved is difficult to move on. The only way to move on is to unknot all the connections that you have established in the past. Unknotting all the karmic relations that you have established consciously or unconsciously. It's not an easy thing to do. Very often it is thoughts that also make us suffer. It is something that you have here inside. I also witness quite a lot like feeling inside the people. The mind sometimes I feel is not there. They are physically at a very beautiful place. Physically they are there, but the mind seems absent because apparently the mind and the body is nothing which naturally is regarded as being together. And this is the result of why? Because sometimes of the system, because you continuously look and search for something which is not here right now. So what does it mean? It means body is here, but your mind is looking for something. And if you don't pay attention to this, it can just manifest and express itself in exactly such things. You find yourself actually in a place which is super beautiful, which is offering everything that you need, but you are not going to recognize it because your mind is a step already again ahead of it. And if this type of pattern, if this type of habit and conditioning you don't realize about yourself, I really think you're missing some essential part about living this lifetime, which is about the enjoyment of what you have. Work for things you like to have. Do the work in order to get it, but observe yourself at the same time when it comes, when it enters your life. Do you still have the ability to really forget everything else and just enjoy what you have? There's something about balance. It's really helpful, and especially it doesn't cost anything. At the end of the day, you are the one. It's your life. You decide and you take the consequences. If sometimes in this lifetime you feel I'm stuck somehow, why are you stuck? because you continuously try to move forward with the old patterns that also haven't worked the last 10 times. It's time for a new perspective. You are angry. The reasons why this anger came up always different, but the anger is always the same. The anger you feel today is the same anger that you felt when you were in young ages. There might be the feeling that outside circumstances are triggering something inside of you. But what eventually comes up is what you have not been able to adjust in the proper way yet. And the same is like ill will. Ill will is a state of the mind. Doesn't matter if it's towards yourself, towards another person, towards your colleagues, it's always the same ill will. It is something inside of you which, if you don't pay attention to, is going to be a hindrance along your way of walking. Go beyond it. I think is the more proper expression because we don't try to get rid of all of these things. You don't want to get rid of your jealousy when it comes up. You don't want to get rid of the joy that you feel. You don't want to get rid of your feelings. You want to have a very great variety of different feelings that you can tap into. The only thing which makes the difference is if you are tapping into this world of feelings consciously, or if that world of feelings is just unconsciously imploding inside of you. This makes the difference. So to overcome, it means to realize it is there. What to do? You need to find something, the state of level on which you are coordinating, which means you have to stand above you. Learn to get into a perspective where you are standing above you, which means this is not about you at the moment. This is not about you. Stand above it. You see, that person at the moment has an issue. How would you, as somebody watching at you, help you coach yourself, guide yourself to the better version, to sometimes identify yourself with this one? If you are caught inside here, I think it becomes difficult. Anger, jealousy, frustration, how often do you feel them and how do you teach yourself beyond them? If I want to, I can tap inside of it right away and my whole day is filled with. No matter where I watch around on the streets, there's no problem at all for me to generate the feeling that ill will start to dominate. Really? Yes. At any moment you could go there. Yes. Yeah. Then I just ask this feeling that you are in, does it feel good? No. You know it doesn't even feel good to be in it. So if you would say ill will, if at least it would give you something by staying inside that state of the mind, at least then I would understand. But if you watch at it, there is nothing positive. There is no benefit to yourself, and there is especially no benefit to the people around you that this ill will is going to cause. What is the first thing that I do when I realize I have this feeling? First of all, I need to know from what does it come? What is it at the moment that triggers it? What is at the moment the source that is triggering it? I say it's so super helpful if you already have some type of concept, some type of teachings. They tell you already where it comes from very simply. And this ill will to 100% in all its different variation that it comes in this world mainly from 3 reasons. Either from greed of not getting more than you want, hate or jealousy of not getting what you want, and sometimes it's called ignorance or not knowing. Greed, hate, ignorance and especially ill will easily fall into one of these categories or sometimes a combination of these things. So ill will can be. Yeah, why does he get it? I deserve it. That's why you deserve it. Because you think about yourself. You are the more hardworking person in this room. So what is that combination? In that combination, it is like unfairness from your subjective view, jealousy, no respect towards yourself. So which then also can maybe mean a low level of self-esteem, a lack of self-confidence. It's very often like a variety of these attributes, I think, but ultimately broken down. That's it. Greed, hate, not knowing when you feel judged or criticized or there's an unfairness about you personally. They don't know better. How do you not let it ruin your day? How do you go beyond it? Personally, I breathe in deeply and I breathe out. And this sounds super ridiculous, but if you really ask me, how do I cope with such situation? This is meanwhile what I am very aware that I have it right now. And I combine my breath, meaning something is getting out of me together with my deep intention and with my deep connection of the mind together with the breath. First of all, they don't know better. If they would have more information available, they would maybe see me differently. And together with that physical aspect, this is what I do. It's like a valve. Before you start imploding, before something starts to rise too much and the pressure builds up, first of all, get rid of that steam. Get rid of that air out. And that's why it sounds very ridiculous sometimes to really say just breathe out. But it's not about the breath only. It's about how serious are you living different type of teachings and methods. And if you are able to learn to combine the breath with an intention, work with intention more consciously, then I think it's very, very possible to get into an area where breath becomes everything to you. You talked about the breathing. What is the intention that they can think of during those moments? 60 seconds, 10 minutes, however long it takes to go beyond it. What is the intentional thought while they're in that it's stressful? The heart is pounding. I don't like this. I want to break free of this. What can they think or say internally along with the breath to help them go beyond? This is sometimes what people then refer to as a mantra can be helpful, especially in such moments. You have something you always tell to yourself, continuously repeat, and now these can be different things. If you merge together the thought they don't know better together with the cultivation of a heart quality of compassion inside of you, then I think even this thought together with that heart quality and the breast has a very powerful impact. There are heart qualities, yes. So that means this is why it's helpful to really from time to time make clear to yourself again the greatest love you have ever felt in this lifetime. How did it feel? How does it feel? So if somebody would ask you nowadays, so when was the moment you really felt love? Well, first of all, you can't make it. On the go, second of all, even probably people nowadays are ashamed of even getting into the state of being while other peoples are watching around. This is why you need to do these practices alone where nobody is watching you and where you are sure you are only with yourself. And there, what you do, you start to you travel into the world of your memories and you travel into everything that you are still able to recall in your mind that has happened in the past when somebody hugged you. Your father, your mother, your grandfather, your first girlfriend, your first boyfriend, it doesn't matter. Recall the situation where you think this was the greatest feeling I have ever felt when I hear about that word love. But then at least you are recalling and now know maybe how it feels. And after you have this feeling now, you ask yourself if something like this is existing and you would have the chance that the people in this world can choose in which state of being. Would you yourself personally would like to live, and what would you wish the others to live in? If you're intelligent, we only come up with one answer, which is for all of them. This is the reason why out of that loving feeling arises then what we call compassion, which means I know how great this feeling is. I know in which direction I would like to guide my life to finally have this feeling more in my life. Then you see people that are obviously sad, that are obviously having issues day in, day out and busy with their mind, and you see how they are suffering, and because you see it and now have this direct comparison to yourself. This is why it becomes so much easier now that you are not going to act anymore out of ill will. So the ill will is only there because you are not at that level yet where you can stand above it. If you feel like moments are too overwhelming for you, number one is get out of the situation. If we get into a big argument right now and you feel like, no, this is too overwhelming, I would now really start get out of the room. Number one, so something very practical. Yes, something is too overwhelming. Then we say get distance first of all. Get distant. You need to be able to adjust room and time. You can use the mind and create something you have never seen in this world. You are creating something in the mind. You have never seen it in person. Why? Because it's not existing yet. Yet you can see it here. Greatness means you want to bring something out of yourself, which is not average. This is not what the mess is able to do. In developing those skills right now, this is a way to make something unique about you. And this uniqueness goes hand in hand with the unbroken willpower that you put into it. And with that vision of yourself that this is what you want and this is what you're going to do. Buddhist teaching is not about what you want. Buddhist teaching is about what can take away from you until it is uncovered again, what you really. We have this world where it is about your feeling, not complete. That's why, first of all, you go to the school until you get your college degree. But even with that college degree, you are not complete. So that means you make a further education. Even with that university degree, you are not complete because you need a job. One job is not complete. Second job. Okay. Second job, there's still something missing in your life. You need a family now. Now you need a car. But actually, the second car wouldn't be so bad. So there is something about you're never enough. Wherever in which position you are located in your lifetime, apparently you are never enough. There's always something more to add. That is the one direction. And what we nowadays know as the Buddhist teachings doesn't have this up. The Buddhist teaching says you come to this world as an empty cup. Then your parents put their job inside of you. The teachers put their knowledge inside of you. The advertising, the government, the schools, your friends, the parents of your friends. So a lot of different influences, ideas, concepts, what you are supposed to do in this life is starting to fill up your cup. Buddhist teaching now is to say, look, all of that stuff inside there, it's not coming from you. So that means spend some time and learn to empty the cup. Make that cup empty. Then you will realize who you really are. What your essence is, the way how you came to this earth. And previous to the question, when you ask, when was life easier as a child or as an adult? Like I said, I think as a child, because that cup as a child is not so full. Now you have the burden to cover the expectations, to fulfill the role you have to play. This is why I think it's more difficult. Now you have these two approaches. Learning to get rid, learning to let go is one area. Learning to attain is the second. And the balance of this, I think this is the biggest challenge. You need an affirmation for your goal that you set into your life for whatever you want to develop yourself in. You need to connect it with a personal affirmation. That is something that fuels it. This is what fuels action. Somebody who has nothing to lose and puts everything on one card because you have no choice. Either you make it now or your family suffer. You fight differently. So that means it's not always the technique, the form that you see on the outside that is so impactful. What is it that fuels your daily actions? What fuels when you walk to the office prepared to do the work? What fuels you waking up every day? Even if it's hard, even sometimes you're sick, you still go to the office and do the work. And that fuel is very, very essential. I cannot imagine there is one person existing in this world who in some way has achieved something without an affirmation. I think it doesn't exist. I think we are all connected. On the one side, I really love this life as long as I can. I would like to experience the variety of everything that is existing here. But at the same time, I also see it as part of my obligation that if I have a possibility to do something that supports other people along the way, this is what I do. I just think this is what you do in the family. You need a healthy body. That means choose any type of physical activity. It really doesn't matter. It only matters that you understand all your wishes or your dreams, all the goals that you are putting to yourself, what you want to achieve in this lifetime. They all are not going to matter anymore if your body is not going to be on the earth to witness these things. Greatness means you want to bring something out of yourself which is not average. This is not what the mass is able to do. If it is something that the masses are not able to do, which means your body, yourself, the way how you're thinking, the way how you're training can't be average. I'm not looking for a skill that I can outsource. I'm looking for skills. I have them and nobody else in this world can copy. If you want to copy, well, then you need to train. Along this way, you also realize in developing those skills right now, actually this is a way to make something unique about you. And this uniqueness goes hand in hand with the unbroken willpower that you put into it and with that vision of yourself that this is what you want and this is what you're going to do. So it is a combination. It is a combination of you need to work for it, but also at the same time have the mindset that backs up your battle plan. You can use the mind and create something you have never seen in this world. You are creating something in the mind. You have never seen it in person. Why? Because it's not existing yet you can see it here. This can mean a fear also. A fear what's going to happen tomorrow. A fear what will happen to my children if I will not be able to take care of them anymore. So there is something you're projecting already that is not here yet. It's not real. You are projecting it inside of you, and the feelings based upon that way of thinking still makes it real to you. You need to be careful what you're creating on the mind. This is the reason why it's so important to know what are you placing inside the mind, because it's so powerful. But now assuming that we all do not want to create our own descent or decay, anything like this. This is not what we want, but we want to have something that we would like to create. Let's say the question right now is, how do I get something from what at the moment is only in my mind into something that it becomes what we would call real? When is something real? It's real when it's here, when also other people can see it, not just you in the mind. Then it's real teaching. Now say, look, all of that stuff inside there, it's not coming from you. So that means spend some time and learn to empty the cup. Make that cup empty. Then you realize who you really are, what your essence is, the way how you came to this earth. It's so important to know what are you placing inside the mind, because it's so powerful. Right now, you have something in your mind, maybe idea, a dream, a vision, an image of something you want to build, create or become. But in this moment, it's only in your head. It's invisible to the world. Nobody else can touch it, see it or share it with you. So when does it become real? It becomes real when it exists outside of your thoughts, when it takes form, when others can see it, feel it, interact with it. That's when it moves from being a private picture in your imagination to something alive in the world. That's the journey from the unseen to the seen, from the mental to the physical, from only I know to everyone can witness. But here's the first lesson. That idea inside your head, that thought, that dream, is not entirely yours. Yes, you experienced it. Yes, it appeared in your mind, but thoughts are like visitors. They come, they stay for a while, then they leave. They are shaped by what you've seen, what you've heard, what you've read, what you've been told. They're shaped by your culture, your family, your experiences, your fears, your hopes. So if you're going to take something from the mind and bring it into the real world, the first step is to make sure you understand where those thoughts are coming from and which ones truly belong in your life. This is where the teaching of emptying the cup comes in. Imagine you walk into a room to learn from a master. You bring your own cup, but it's already full of your opinions, your assumptions, your conclusions. The master offers you tea, but no matter how much they pour, nothing more can. It just spills everywhere. That's how the mind works when it's too full. You can't take in anything new because you're holding on to too much of what you already think you know. So what's the solution? You empty the cup. Emptying the cup doesn't mean you lose your mind or forget your life experience. It means you stop clinging to the constant chatter of thoughts. You let go of the need to hold on to every belief, every judgment, every pre-decided answer. When the cup is empty, something magical happens. You can see clearly. You realize that many of the things inside your head didn't start with you. They were placed there by your environment, by media, by other people's opinions, by the world around you. And once you see that, you gain the power to choose what to keep and what to release. Here's why that matters. The mind is powerful, incredibly powerful. What you put inside it will grow. If you plant fear, fear grows. If you plant doubt, doubt grows. But if you plant courage, courage grows. If you plant patience, patience grows. So before you rush to bring something from your mind into the world, take the time to check, what seeds am I planting in here? If you want to create something beautiful, peaceful and strong in the outside world, you must start by cultivating the same inside. Let's break this into steps you can actually follow. Before you act, sit quietly and observe what's in your mind. Don't judge it. Don't fight it. Just notice. You might realize that half your thoughts are just noise, random fragments that don't need your energy. Ask yourself, where did this thought come from? Was it given to you by your parents, the news, social media, a random comment someone made? The more you trace the origin, the more you see that not every thought is your truth. Let go. Release the weight. Create space inside your mind. This is not laziness, it's preparation. An empty mind is alert, open, and ready to create something authentic. Once the cup is empty, choose carefully what you put back in. Feed your mind with ideas that inspire you, with images of the life you want to live, with principles you can be proud to act on. Now that you're clear, it's time to take that idea from your mind and give it shape. Speak it out loud. Write it down. Build it. Share it. Let others experience it. This is how reality is shaped. It begins as a thought. It is filtered through awareness. It is nurtured with intention. And finally, it is expressed into the physical world. Most people skip the second and third steps. They take whatever thought comes to them and act on it without checking where it came from or whether it belongs. That's how people end up building lives based on other people's expectations instead of their own truth. But when you empty the cup, you break that cycle. You return to your original essence, the way you came into this world. You were born without the noise of 1,000 borrowed thoughts. You were born with a clear, fresh mind, ready to explore. That is still inside you beneath all the layers you've picked up along the way. And here's the real beauty. Once you learn to empty the cup regularly, your creativity becomes limited. Because now, what comes through your mind isn't just recycled content from the past. It's fresh, it's alive, it's directly connected to the present moment. You begin to see possibilities that others miss. You begin to notice small details that spark big ideas. And you no longer create from fear or from a need to impress. You create from truth. That's when the things you bring into the world carry a different energy. People can feel it. They may not know why, but they'll be drawn to it because it's real. So ask yourself now, what's inside my cup? Is it filled with doubts, comparisons, and borrowed opinions? Or is it open, spacious, ready to receive something new? The world doesn't just need more noise. It needs clarity. It needs authenticity. It needs creations and actions that come from people who have taken the time to empty their cup, to see who they really are, and to choose consciously what they pour back in. The mind is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it must be handled with care. What you build with it will shape your life. What you feed it will shape your reality. So before you go chasing the next big thing in your head, pause, clear the space, return to the essence of who you are. Then, from that stillness, let your next thought arise and give it life in the world. That is how you turn what's in your mind into something real. That is how you create with intention. That is how you live in alignment with your truest self.